What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and today we're going through the first of two different videos dedicated to two experienced cats who've had a lot of questions asked about them over the course of season 2024. They're going to continue into season 2025 as things currently stand, and I honestly don't really expect that to change. I'm talking about Rhys Stanley and Mitch Duncan. Now, we're going to focus on the latter in today's video. And stay tuned, of course, for the video dedicated to Rhys Stanley as well. But I want to focus on Mitch Duncan initially here because I guess there's more conversations about what does Geelong's midfield blend and half-back blend kind of look like over the course of the next 12 months. And he is a part of that. Now, so is Rhys Stanley as the ruckman, but a ruckman is a very defined role. And I think the answers are a little bit clearer when it comes to the Cats going forward. When it comes to midfield, Mitch may or may not still have a large part to play. And so I want to walk through all of the key stats and things you need to know about Mitch Duncan this season, and then kind of pick through what I think that might mean for his prospects as the Cat through 2025. Now, before we do any of that, a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist, established in Geelong since 1915. Visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au. That's Cook with an E. Give them a call on 035 222 2244 or mention the Hoops Crew to get yourself 20% off your next in-store purchase when you visit them at Shop 12, 11 Leather Street in Breakwater.
Thank you, Cyril Cook, as always. Now, let's focus on Mitch Duncan and where he's headed going into season 2025. Now, I've just brought the stats screen up here from the official Geelong webpage. You can obviously use the AFL tables and a whole range of other resources as well if you want to find some numbers. I would have loved to have found some disposal efficiency stats out there and kind of a year-by-year comparison because there are stats that exist, but it doesn't seem to be being presented in a clean and easy, accessible format, which is unfortunate. I don't get to specify the different stats that kind of appear here. So this is a softer, gentler sort of look at the whole scenario. And I might just kind of bring up some of the AFL table stuff in the meantime because it also gives me some averages, which will be a really handy resource for us in terms of comparing year to year for Mitch Duncan. Because I would say, and I think most would agree, that this year I wasn't one of the ones that were kind of screaming and shouting for him to be out of the team through 2024, but I would be joining a large contingent of fans who would be saying that Mitch Duncan had a down year. And at the age of 33, he's totally well within his rights to, of course, have that down year. He's done some extraordinary things. He's been part of premierships for the Cats. He's been an absolute legend, a stalwart for the Cats, done some phenomenal stuff. And, you know, I'm really excited for he's played 296 games, so we're going to be talking about game 300 next year. Where, you know, he's done some extraordinary stuff for the Cats and have been a vital cog in the engine throughout the 2010s and into 2020s as well. We love Mitch Duncan. We respect Mitch Duncan. He's done so many phenomenal things for us. But the question is simple. It's like, is 2025 the final year? And my gut feel, before we dive into some of the statistical measures, is yes. Mitch Duncan has never been incredibly blessed with speed. He plays the game in a very Scott Pendlebury-like way where he's so wily. He's such an intelligent player that he makes the game look like it's a bit slower for him, which gives him time to dispose of it, which is handy because, yeah, he's not blessed with speed. But I would say the game is catching up with him a little bit in the course of the last 12 months. And one of the things that Mitch Duncan has always been able to hang his hat on, and I talk about the disposal efficiency and those sorts of things, the thing that he's always been able to hang his hat on has been his disposal efficiency, which I've noticed this year. He's missed more targets. He's not gotten the speed of the game down pat, and has consequently been a bit of a letdown on a few occasions this year. And again, we love Mitch, but he has not been at the level that we've come to know and expect. And nor should we expect him to continue to hit that level, because players aren't timeless. They don't go on forever. There is, for want of a much better phrase, an expiry date, a best before date. I think he's hit that best before date, but he's not expired. And so in 2025, I do expect Mitch Duncan to get game time, to play more games than he doesn't. But I think his role needs to shift a little bit. The way the Cats utilize him needs to be tweaked a little bit. I think he might be that recurring sub far more often throughout 2025, where his poise, his skills can be utilized, but he also comes into the game a bit later when the speed, the frenetic speed of the game has been taken out of it. And so he can come in at his pace, at his full speed, which is probably more in line with what the others are able to deliver at that particular point in time. If we look at some overall career stats, you look at 2024 and you think, oh, not a bad year. Let's not lose sight of the fact that his numbers are higher than 2023 because he played 6 more games. Because then when I think you put that lens over it, you go, oh, maybe not. If I bring up the AFL tables thing here, I'm going to have to swap my screen that I'm presenting here, so bear with me for 1 second. I think it's going to really highlight my point a little more. So stop sharing that. We'll bring up this one here, and Bob's your uncle. We're talking about Mitch Duncan year on year. Now, keep in mind, it is 2010 running down to 2024 here. I'm hoping that it is nice and clear for everyone to see. I might try and project it and make it even larger. Hopefully that helps a little bit more. I'm hiding myself right now. Let's fix that one as well. And we'll talk about, some of this year-to-year sort of stuff. Now, I have this sorted by averages because I do really want to focus on the yearly average. Disposal count, down. He's hitting the scoreboard less. His tackling count. He's never been an incredible tackler, but that's down as well. There's a whole range of metrics that I think are key to a player who's playing in the midfield or the halfback flank that are absolutely down this year. And it's a bit disappointing, I guess. Even just the lack of bouncing the ball. Like he's not kind of getting space like he once would. Contested possessions down. Uncontested possessions down. Contested marks. He's never been a contested marking sort of player, but like that's down. There's so many metrics that, and I guess one that's always been a real key for him, and maybe part of it's kind of in sync with his good mate Tom Hawkins, who also has finished up this year. His goal assist total is down. He's not been able to lace out someone inside 50 in the ways that we've kind of known him to be able to do over the years, and that's unfortunate. So, statistically speaking, Mitch Duncan is in a difficult spot. The question is, should he remain in the team through 2025? And for me, the definitive answer is yes. But that I don't say definitive. I do say he's the sub. He's kind of that more recurring sub, but maybe there's a horses for courses component as well. And maybe there's some games where he's not the right fit for the sub. But I do think he can still play that substitute role that we kind of saw him play late in the season and come on and be that poise, be that touch. His speed will be more in line with the speed of the game at that particular stage. There's a whole bunch of different things that I think could work very well for him, and he can be a resource that's well utilized by the Cats as a result. It's just a tricky one because what we're expecting is a ton of development from younger players as well. And if those younger players, the Closies of the world, the Mitch Nevitts of the world, that are all kind of coming through, the Connor O'Sullivans, there's so many players that are developing and pushing for the seniors. If some of those guys begin to push through, then maybe Mitch Duncan gets pushed out. And maybe his final year is one that he spends more time in the VFL than in the seniors. So it'll be an interesting one in that sense. My gut feel now is though the right role for Mitch Duncan is to play that sub role, the 23rd man, and come on and have an effect with his clean disposal and those sort of things. It might mean that the disposal is better as well because he's not as exhausted. His opponents around him makes it a little bit harder for them to close down the space. I mean, he nearly kicked an all-important goal for us in the dying stages of the prelim final, and it's because he had the space, he had the time, he has the brain for it. He ended up getting closed down because Brisbane were frantic and doing an incredible job. But more often than not, a Mitch Duncan gets that opportunity, especially as the game starts to slow and it's in those dying stages, and a Mitch Duncan gets a shot on goal. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that it didn't work. I'm disappointed by the fact that it didn't work out, but I'm okay with the position he found himself in. I'm okay with the way he was injected into the game. In that case, unfortunately, they left it too long, and Max Holmes was clearly out of the game for too long before we finally flicked the switch and brought Mitch into the game. But there's opportunity. And I think that is the best way to use Mitch Duncan going into season 2025. That said, if the youth push through, then he probably needs to be pushed out. We'll wrap things up there. Let me know, Cats fans, what you think about Mitch Duncan going into 2025. Should he be getting a game in the seniors? Should he be in the VFL? Is 2025 the final year? Mitch, if you're watching, please, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful with all of this, but with any club, there's that constant conversation about how the team lineup needs to evolve. And of course, when there's senior players on the list, instantly those questions get asked about how they fit. So Mitch, if you're watching, diehard Mitch Duncan fans, if you're watching as well, I am not trying to just throw him out the door. I love Mitch Duncan and all that he's contributed. And I can't wait to hopefully see an amazing season from him in 2025. But I also think it might be the last one. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are getting close to 1,500 subscribers now. We've been seeing an incredible amount of growth through this year. It's been incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who's come aboard. Check us out on Patreon if you haven't already. There's early access content, exclusive content, extended content. $5 a month is all it takes for you to get access to all of that stuff. You can find me at Paul James Games on socials. The Hoops Crew you'll find at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.